Hello, John Bloodworth Gentleman Crafter here with the assembly instructions for your 3D teacup project. I'm showing you an Easter themed one here, but I'd like to also give you an alternative serving suggestion for something a little bit more floral and generic. Now of course there's plenty of space in here for biscuits, for chocolates, for handmade soaps, or just a little self-care package. Whatever you fancy filling it with, I'm sure it will be appreciated. So let's take a look at the parts. We're going to start with the saucer itself. That's made of these two parts. You've got a large section in the middle and then the strange outer section. You've got a similar section for the base of the teacup. And then the teacup parts are here. So we've got the small shape in the middle, the sides, and then at the end we've got one panel that's undecorated. We've got the handle, which was formed of two parts that are stuck together, avoiding the tabs. And then we've got a decorative panel with a slot cut into it. Let me just show you that handle. So you can see I've stuck the two sections together and I've left the tabs unglued so they fold out. Right, let's make a start. So I'm going to start with the undecorated panel for the side of the teacup. I'm going to grab my glue, and I'm using a bookbinding glue as always with a fine tip applicator, and I'm just going to apply glue to one of those tabs. I'll then bring the thin end in of that wedge and stick it in place, making sure that it's fully stuck before I move on to the next piece. I'm then just going to work in a clockwise fashion, so working left to right around the circumference of that central shape, sticking one piece at a time, making sure to align the corners and the edges. So as I say, you'll work your way around until you've got all 8 pieces on, like this. And then we're going to fix the handle and the decorative strip on before we move on to the next step. Now, it doesn't fit on if you try and push the handle part through, so what you're going to do is just push through the little tab sections and fold them out. Then you're going to take your glue and apply that underneath the tabs and over the back of that decorative panel. Then take that whole thing, turn it face down and stick it to that undecorated side of the cup. Now obviously, as you saw, I have pre-attached all of these decorative panels just purely because it's much easier than trying to do it after your cup is assembled. There we go, there's our handle in place. And the next job is to start forming that bowl of the cup. So we're going to start with one of the small tabs towards that central shape. Apply a little bit of glue and then hold it in place until it's fully grabbed. Work your way around, working one tab at a time on that central section. Again, holding things in place until they have fully grabbed. And once you have that done, you'll have something like this. So the next job is to start forming the sides. So we'll again start with one tab on one long edge. And I'm always starting where the handle is. It's just a marker for me. So it's not necessarily essential. It's just a way of working. Now you can do the top parts at the same time, just making sure they're fully grabbed before you move on to the next one. Or you could do the entire circumference of long edges and then the circumference of top edges. Either way, just make sure that you're working things and aligning them with the previous fold lines and the tabs on the next section to make sure that it all forms nice and neatly. Now for the base of the cup, we've got this shape here, which is like a semicircle with a tab on the end. And we'll apply glue to one section, or one tab. And then we're going to pick up that central piece, and we're going to put the tab against that first section nearest the tab on that semicircular section, and hold it in place until it's fully grabbed. Then you're going to work your way around one by one, making sure that everything's stuck until you move on to the next piece. When you come to the end, apply glue to both of the tabs, again with that fine tip applicator, and then you're going to maneuver that last section in, making sure that it lines up with the top edge and that tab on the side, and this will form that base of the cup. Now that we have both sections, we can glue those together. I like to add a line of glue around the outside edge and then some across the centre. You'll take the base and present it to the bowl. Squish it together, making sure all the points are lined up, and then you'll hold that in place until it's fully grabbed. Hold it for a bit longer than you have been doing for the side tabs, just to make sure that all areas come into contact and stick together. Now for the saucer, it's going to be very similar to the base of the cup, but we're going to put the tabs underneath. So I'll show you that. Apply glue to one of the tabs. And then again, we're working from that end that's got the tab on. Work flat on your table and press that down until it's fully grabbed. For the next one and for subsequent tabs, you can basically just curl up the saucer rim, apply glue to the tab, and then push the next section down onto that tab, making sure to line it up with that fold line. Work your way around as we did before, and then when we come to the last section, again we're going to apply glue to both tabs, and we'll basically just nestle that last piece in, making sure to line it up with both score lines or both fold lines. And once you have that done, that's your cup and saucer complete, and it's entirely up to you now how you go about decorating it, whether you want to add any embellishments, whether you want to stick the cup directly to the saucer so that it's one piece, or whether you want to fill it with your favourite treats. So here again is a look at the finished piece that I did. Obviously I chose an Easter egg for an Easter themed one here to match the papers. But of course you could theme it to whoever you're giving it to, or the occasion that you're celebrating. So there's the Easter theme one, and here's a nice generic themed floral one with a few die cut embellishments added as well. I hope you enjoy making and creating.